Welcome back to our deep dive on the ketogenic diet.
Part 2.
You got it. In part 1, we unpacked the science behind keto, explored its potential benefits and risks, and we even busted some common myths. Now let's shift gears a bit and get practical.
All right, I'm ready to get down to the nitty-gritty. For those of you listening who are intrigued by keto, thinking, okay, this might be for me,
Yeah.
where do you even begin? It seems like such a huge shift from a typical diet.
You're right. Starting any new dietary approach, it can feel daunting,
Yeah.
especially one as unique as keto. But with some preparation and the right guidance, it's totally doable. The first step is really understanding what you can and cannot eat on a ketogenic diet.
Okay, let's break it down. What are the stars of the keto show? What food should people be loading up on?
Think of it this way. Healthy fats are your best friends on keto.
Okay.
They'll make up the bulk of your calories, so choose wisely.
Yeah.
Reach for avocados, olive oil, nuts and seeds, and fatty fish like salmon and mackerel.
Okay.
These are all excellent sources of those heart-healthy fats we talked about earlier.
Got it. Fats are in. What about protein? Where does that fit into the keto equation?
So protein is essential on keto,
Okay.
but it's not the main event like fats are.
Gotcha.
Aim for a moderate protein intake.
Okay.
Prioritizing quality sources like grass-fed meats, poultry, eggs, and full-fat dairy products.
Okay. So we've got our healthy fats, our moderate protein intake. What about those carb cravings? Are there A and Y carbs allowed on keto?
Yes, but in very limited quantities.
Okay.
And not just any carbs, mind you.
Right.
Focus on low-carb vegetables like
Yeah.
leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, and peppers.
Okay.
These provide essential nutrients and fiber without kicking you out of ketosis.
So it's not a complete carb-free zone,
Right.
but it's definitely a significant reduction.
Right.
I imagine it takes some creativity to build satisfying meals around those guidelines.
Yeah.
What does a typical day of eating on keto look like?
Let's paint a picture.
Okay.
For breakfast, you might enjoy scrambled eggs cooked in butter with a side of spinach and avocado.
Okay, yum.
For lunch, a hearty salad with grilled chicken or fish, topped with plenty of healthy fats like olive oil and nuts.
Sounds good.
And for dinner, a delicious salmon fillet baked with herbs and lemon, served with a side of roasted asparagus.
Okay, I'm getting hungry.
Snacks can include things like a handful of almonds, cheese slices, or celery sticks with nut butter.
Okay.
The key is to get enough fat to keep you feeling full and energized throughout the day.
Those meals sound honestly delicious and surprisingly diverse. It doesn't seem as restrictive as I initially imagined.
Right.
But let's talk about those early days on keto. We mentioned the keto flu in part 1.
Right.
Is there anything people can do to minimize those unpleasant symptoms?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
The keto flu is a common experience as your body adapts to burning fat for fuel instead of carbs.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to combat it is to stay hydrated.
Right.
Keto can lead to increased water loss,
Okay.
so make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day.
Stay hydrated. Gotcha.
Electrolyte balance is also crucial.
Okay.
So consider adding some electrolyte supplements or incorporating electrolyte-rich foods into your diet.
Okay.
Things like bone broth, avocado, and leafy greens can help replenish those lost electrolytes.
So hydration and electrolytes are key. Any other tips for making that transition to keto smoother?
Easing into keto gradually can also help.
Okay.
Instead of going cold turkey on carbs, try gradually reducing your intake over a few days or a week.
Okay.
This gives your body a chance to adjust more gently.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different keto-friendly recipes and find what works best for you.
Makes sense.
There's a wealth of resources available online and in cookbooks dedicated to keto cuisine.
That's great advice. So preparation and self-care are essential during those initial stages.
Yeah.
But let's be real, even with the best intentions, there are going to be times when cravings strike. What are some strategies for dealing with those moments of weakness when you're tempted to stray from your keto plan?
Well, cravings are a normal part of any dietary change.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up if you experience them.
Yeah.
The key is to have a plan in place to deal with them effectively.
Okay.
First, make sure you're eating enough fat.
Right.
Fat is incredibly satiating, and if you're not consuming enough, your cravings are going to be much stronger.
Okay.
Second, have keto-friendly snacks readily available.
Okay.
If you know you're prone to late-night snacking, have a handful of nuts or some cheese slices on hand to satisfy those cravings without derailing your progress.
Okay.
And finally, don't be afraid to get creative in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There are tons of delicious keto-friendly recipes out there that can help you satisfy your sweet tooth or your cravings for comfort food without sacrificing your goals.
So, a well stocked kitchen and a repertoire of go to keto recipes are key. But what about those social situations? Navigating parties, restaurants, and family gatherings.
Yeah,
That can be tricky on a ANY diet, let alone one as specific as keto.
you're right. Those social situations, they can be challenging.
Yeah.
But with a little planning and communication,
Yeah.
you can definitely enjoy yourself without compromising your keto commitment.
Okay, good.
If you're going to a party, offer to bring a keto-friendly dish to share.
Okay.
This way, you'll know there's at least one option you can enjoy freely. When dining out, don't be afraid to ask questions about the menu and make modifications as needed. Most restaurants are happy to accommodate dietary requests. And when it comes to family gatherings,
Yeah,
communicate your dietary needs in advance.
makes sense.
Your loved ones will likely be supportive, and you can work together to create a menu that everyone can enjoy.
So, being proactive and finding ways to make keto work for you within your social life. What about those moments of doubt? Everyone hits a plateau or a rough patch at some point in their journey.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's feeling discouraged
Yeah.
or tempted to give up on keto?
First and foremost, remember why you started. What were your goals? What benefits were you hoping to achieve? Reconnect with that initial motivation and remind yourself of the progress you've already made. Second, don't be afraid to reach out for support.
Okay.
Whether it's a friend, family member, online community, or a healthcare professional, having a support system can make all the difference.
Yeah.
And finally, be patient and kind to yourself. Change takes time, and there will be ups and downs along the way. Celebrate your victories, learn from your setbacks, and keep moving forward.
It's not about perfection, it's about progress.
Absolute.
And speaking of progress, let's talk about tracking.
Okay.
I know some people are meticulous about tracking every macro and calorie,
Yeah.
while others prefer a more intuitive approach. What's your take on tracking on keto?
Well, tracking can be a helpful tool,
Okay.
especially in the early stages when you're getting familiar with the macronutrient ratios
Yeah.
and figuring out what works best for your body.
Right.
Apps like MyFitnessPal or Carb Manager can make tracking a breeze.
Okay.
However, it's not essential for everyone.
Sure.
Some people find that they can intuitively eat keto without meticulously tracking every bite.
Sure.
Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference and what feels sustainable for you.
So find a system that works for you and that you can stick with.
Exactly.
It's about finding a balance between being informed and not getting bogged down in the details. But what about long-term sustainability? We've talked about the potential benefits of keto, but is it realistic to maintain this way of eating for the long haul?
That's a great question, and it's one that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
The ketogenic diet can be incredibly effective,
Okay.
but it's undeniably a significant lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And like any lifestyle change, it requires commitment and ongoing effort.
Right.
The key to long-term sustainability
Mm-hmm.
is finding a way to make keto work for you within your individual preferences and lifestyle.
Okay.
If you find it overly restrictive or unsustainable, it's unlikely you'll stick with it long term.
Right.
Experiment, adjust, and find what feels good for your body and your mind.
So it's about finding a personalized approach to keto that fits your unique needs and preferences.
Exactly.
It's not about following a rigid set of rules, but rather about adopting principles that support your overall health and well-being.
Exactly. It's about making informed choices that empower you to feel your best.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this part 2 of our keto deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
We've gone from understanding the basics
Yeah.
to practical tips for starting and maintaining the diet,
Right.
even navigating those tricky social situations. We've also addressed the importance of mindset, support, and finding a sustainable approach that works for you.
Right.
Welcome back, Keto Explorers. In part 1, we laid the groundwork, breaking down the science behind the ketogenic diet.
Right.
Then in part 2, we got practical, covering tips for starting keto and navigating all those real-life situations that can pop up.
Exactly.
Now, this final part, we're going to explore some of the more nuanced aspects of keto and delve into those advanced strategies
Okay.
you might be curious about.
All right. Sounds good.
So we're going to tackle those lingering questions you might have.
Yeah.
The ones that come up once you've got the fundamentals down and are ready to fine-tune your approach. I'm all for fine-tuning. So let's talk about those who are taking keto to the next level, like athletes using it for performance enhancement. How does that work?
Well, it's amazing how adaptable our bodies are when it comes to different fuel sources.
Right.
For endurance athletes in particular, keto can be a real game changer
Okay.
by training their bodies to efficiently burn fat for energy.
Okay.
They're essentially tapping into a virtually limitless fuel source,
Wow.
which can delay fatigue and potentially boost their performance.
So it's almost like having this secret weapon, this
Yeah,
internal energy reserve that just keeps going and going.
exactly. Think of it like switching from a small gas tank
Okay.
to a much larger one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as simple as just cutting carbs and hitting the gym. Athletes who are serious about using keto for performance enhancement, they need to work closely with coaches and nutritionists
Okay.
to adjust their training regimens, fine-tune their macronutrient intake to support their specific athletic goals.
So it's a great reminder that keto isn't a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
It needs to be individualized
Yeah.
and adapted to your specific needs and goals. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a topic that often comes up alongside keto intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Is there a connection between these two approaches?
There's definitely a synergy between keto and intermittent fasting.
Okay.
They both involve strategically manipulating your eating patterns
Okay.
to influence your metabolism
Okay.
and tap into your body's natural fat-burning capabilities.
So how do they differ?
Well, intermittent fasting involves cycling between periods of eating and fasting,
Okay.
while keto focuses on restricting carbohydrates to shift your body into that fat-burning state we call ketosis. It's like they're working on different aspects of the same goal.
So you could say they complement each other.
Precisely. And many people find that combining keto with intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
it enhances their results. Whether they're looking for weight loss,
Yeah.
improved metabolic health, or simply optimizing their overall well-being. However, it's important to approach this combination carefully and gradually,
Right.
especially if you're new to either approach.
So mastering the basics of each approach individually before combining them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now let's move on to something that might surprise some listeners. The concept of keto cycling. What exactly does that involve?
Keto cycling is a strategy
Okay.
that involves strategically incorporating planned periods of higher carbohydrate intake into a ketogenic diet.
Okay.
It's not about cheating or going off the rails,
Right.
but rather a deliberate approach to managing metabolic adaptation
Mm-hmm.
and potentially mitigating some of the challenges
Okay.
associated with long-term keto adherence.
So you're essentially giving your body a break from the strictness of keto,
Right.
but why would someone choose to do that?
Well, there are a few reasons why someone might try keto cycling.
Okay.
For some, consistently low carbohydrate intake.
Okay.
It can lead to hormonal shifts that impact energy levels, mood, and even athletic performance.
Interesting.
So by strategically reintroducing carbs,
Okay.
they can help rebalance their hormones and potentially improve their overall well-being.
It's like hitting the reset button on those hormones.
Exactly. It can be a way to fine-tune the approach and make it more sustainable in the long run.
Okay.
Keto cycling is also a strategy some people use to overcome weight loss plateaus. The theory is that by temporarily increasing carbs, you can boost your metabolism and potentially break free from that stall.
So it's about shaking things up a bit to get things moving again.
Right. But it's important to approach this with caution and work with a healthcare professional or registered dietitian to ensure you're doing it safely and effectively.
It's a good reminder that even with all the information available online,
Yeah,
it's crucial to seek personalized guidance from qualified experts,
definitely.
especially when it comes to making adjustments to your diet. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into the ketogenic diet, what key takeaways would you like to leave our listeners with?
First and foremost, knowledge is power.
Okay.
We've explored the science, the benefits, the risks, and the practicalities of keto. Arm yourself with information, and don't be afraid to ask questions
Right.
and seek guidance from credible sources.
It's all about taking charge of your health journey and making informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And secondly, remember that the ketogenic diet,
Yeah.
while powerful, isn't a magic bullet. It's a tool that can be incredibly effective,
Right.
but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Be honest with yourself about your goals,
Okay.
your lifestyle, and your willingness to commit to the necessary changes.
It's not about blindly following trends, but rather about finding what truly works for you. It's your individual needs and your lifestyle.
Got it.
Yeah.
And finally, be patient and kind to yourself throughout this process.
Yeah.
Change takes time, and there will be bumps in the road. Celebrate your successes, learn from your setbacks, and most importantly, listen to your body. It will tell you what it needs.
Well, this deep dive has truly been a journey of discovery,
Yeah, it has.
exploring this fascinating world of the ketogenic diet.
Right.
We've seen how it challenges conventional ideas about diet, offering a unique approach to weight management,
Yeah,
metabolic health, and even athletic performance.
absolutely.
But ultimately, the decision of whether or not to embark on this keto journey is a personal one. Armed with the knowledge you've gained here today,
Right.
you're now equipped to make an informed choice that aligns with your individual goals and aspirations.
Exactly.
Whether you choose to embrace keto, explore other dietary approaches, or simply take away a few nuggets of wisdom to enhance your current lifestyle, remember that your health is a lifelong journey, one of discovery, experimentation, and continuous learning.
Well said.
And we're here to support you every step of the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the ketogenic diet. Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep thriving.